I wanted to take the weekend off to enjoy the victory. I've been in a death battle with Chris Greer and his supporters and a lot of misguided belief that he was the guy for almost 4 years. 4 years, I think. So I wanted to just marinate in some joy for a couple of days and wanted to take a little breather before something came up where I'd have to go back to being the contrarian bad guy. I don't like to be the bad guy. I don't like to be contrarian. I want to be kumbaya with everybody. And we were kumbaya with Chris Greer being gone. And it felt fantastic. But we got some new news. And I'm just going to put something contrarian out there. Going to cover Jaylen Phillips being traded to the Eagles and kind of pull this thing together. We don't know what the future holds, but I'm trying to parse through these tea leaves and to be accurate to you guys and to be fair with what's inside me. I'm not the kind of guy who can feel something or think something and not say it. It's good and it's bad, but that's what it is. So that's what I'm going to get into, guys. Please like, subscribe, comment, and view. There's this thing called hype. Someone keeps telling me about the hype factor. I need all the promotion I can get. I don't really try to do clickbait. I don't try to ride popular themes. I'm not really good at the promotion thing. So if you can help me out, hit that hype button, comment, like, and subscribe to keep Curtis in the biz. So let's get into the easy part first. Jaelan Phillips is no longer a Dolphin. He's with the Eagles. And we ended up getting a third-round pick. And in some ways, that's a good deal. Reality is, guys, we're broke. We are broke. There's no way we're going to keep Jaelan Phillips. So we had to move him. Unfortunately, when you're this close to the trade deadline, you have a hard time in a lot of ways making good deals. So this wasn't a terrible deal. We could have kept Jaylen Phillips for the year and got an additional third-round pick. We ended up trading with the Eagles with Harry Roseman, who's the best in the biz. And we got a third-round pick. Now, we had to pay some of his money. That's not good. We could have gotten the higher pick, the Jets pick, the third-round pick, and that would have been great. But there's no way you're coming in here, whether it's Chris Greer or it's Champ Kelly, to bully Howie Roseman. That guy's probably got 70 moves from Sunday to find a D end. Now, Fangio really wanted Phillips. And so Howie gets what he wants. We get to move off Phillips. We don't get the conditional. We get a solid third-round pick, but it's likely going to be at the end of the third round. So we should have moved him a while back, or maybe had the brands, the stoking the fire to get that trade out. Maybe some other teams interested. Maybe we did. Maybe we didn't. I don't know. I think if you had good, better, or best, this is a good move because you don't want to be stuck with him. You don't want to go through the season where you could get hurt. And then, you might lose him. And I guess you would get the third-round comp pick no matter what, unless he misses a lot of time. So this isn't a terrible, terrible move. We should be moving off other guys. I'd like to get better deal for a guy like Jaylen than that late third-round pick, but it is slightly better, and you can't kill Champ Kelly over it. Definitely would have loved that third-round pick. But there's complications beyond just Jaylen Phillips. And that's going to tie into some of the other news I heard over the weekend. And that is, and the more critical, Phillips was gone. That third-round pick, I'd rather have that than a comp pick. Because comp picks, you never know. Again, he could have got injured and affected, turned into a fourth. So this at least locks us in that third round. But the problem here is, and this is where I'm going to be the contrarian, guys. First off, Greer being gone raises the floor of the future of the Dolphins, no matter how you slice it. Whoever we get in here It is going to be raising the morale and the hope of the fans. It's going to get a guy out that I'm tired of seeing slither on camera and screw things up with the way he does things, and get him out of the building as quick as possible. We are better off. How much our future, the ceiling of the future raises, as I've said for a while, depends on Ross. Will Ross be willing to change? And the way he does things at the top, his desire for control, his desire to affect football operations, his desire to allow his guys to have effect on football operations, his corporate structure of divisions of power where the GM plays a part, and probably a major part, but he's not the total. That is going to be the core of not only our floor raising with the dunce leaving, but the ceiling by getting somebody in here who runs things the way successful teams run things. And from what I'm hearing is we already know that McDaniel's here to the end of the season. But now it's starting to come out here and there that it looks like Ross wants McDaniel longer term. And he signed a contract extension in 24, so there's money attached. But I think it goes back to these core principles that I was saying about Ross, because Ross is now, from reports, whether it's true or not, we'll see, but reports that he, just like when we hired Gase and we had Tannenbaum and Greer, and he came in and he wanted, or maybe Greer wasn't there at the time, I don't remember. It was Tannenbaum certainly, and he came in and he gave Gase control of the game day roster, which kind of undercut GM and the guys at the top because he wanted them so bad. And that became a divisions of power where there were problems. This is reminiscent of that. He is an absentee owner, but the absentee doesn't mean he's not involved in key points. It doesn't mean that he's so absent that he's not giving other people power to interfere in this divisions of power. And I've said for a while, I don't know. I know he's going to sacrifice somebody. Was it Greer, McDaniel, too, all three, whatever it takes to get this thing moving forward. And the ugly optics of the situation changed. But it looks like and I said also, looks like Champ Kelly or Marvin Allen's going to be the GM, because no real GM's coming here. If he's got to take on McDaniel and he's got to take on Tua, and Ross is going to be intervening at the top, and his buddy's going to be intervening at the top. And Ross probably knows this. He has struggled getting top coaches here. He struggled. I mean, after Bullygate, we couldn't even find a GM. We had to sign Hickey, and then he had to go to Tannenbaum, his friend, and then he had to go to Greer. But you ask yourself, why did we bring in Champ Kelly if we were pretty certain Greer wasn't going to make it, especially if we're cutting the purse strings, if it wasn't to be something big going forward? And with Champ Kelly now in the picture, and some of the stuff kind of rising up to paint him in a very good light, and Ross kind of saying, we're going to keep him to the end of the year, which I understand if you want to keep the tank going, but now it's kind of leaking out here and there that he wants McDaniel longer term. And then there's the optics that Tua is so bad, he's strapping McDaniel, and poor McDaniel, and Greer was so bad, he's strapping McDaniel. We got to give McDaniel a chance to get his own quarterback. It's all wrapping around that he's going to be back. Champ Kelly's going to be the GM, and Ross isn't going to change his MO. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, and it shouldn't taint the joy of Greer being gone or the fact that we will be better without him. Champ Kelly is a better GM than him. I don't know about the trading part. Greer did a good job of trading in a lot of ways. Some ways, not so much. But he was a riverboat roll guy making, some good trades where he got stuff you didn't expect him to get. But the totality was terrible. But it does look like the future, at least in the short term, is set with Ross keeping his power structure at the top, Champ Kelly, been marinated, as I've said for a while now. I see other people saying it. Marinated in how we do business. And he wants to be a GM. So he'll go along with the program. And Ross realizing, you know what? I might be able to get a good coach in here. He said he wanted a tough guy and he wanted a disciplinarian. But it looks like we're going to repeat some of the major issues. And if we keep Kelly and we keep McDaniel and Ross stays the way he is, we're not digging into this structure as far as the scouting staff, the operational vision and philosophy with fresh eyes on the outside who's willing to cut anything that compromises success, even at the uncomfortability of the owner and his buddies. And that is not good. I don't think we can get down too bad on the Phillips trade, but this is a concern. Is Champ Kelly the best guy for the job? Maybe he's the best guy we can get. Maybe Ross knows that. But is he the best guy for the job? You look at McDaniel, and he's struggled with discipline. Every year he's been here, we are one of the highest penalty teams. He still hasn't been able to get calls in on time. He's had players for years kind of doing what they do. I mean, even this season with the player-only meeting, is this the best that we can get in the sense that it's out there, and if we could acquire it, is this the best? Now, like I said, Ross, I felt, is a pariah. A lot of people don't want to work with him here because of the past and how he likes to run business. So maybe this is actually the best we can get. But in a bubble, if we were a wanted franchise, is Champ Kelly the best GM? Is Mike McDaniel the best head coach? No. No. Now, we're not there yet. We've got to see what happens this offseason. Maybe McDaniel's fired. Maybe Champ Kelly is just that interim GM. Maybe Ross is going to change his flavor and put a job pursuit out there for the best GM, best head coach, who will come in here and gut what needs to be gutted and have him stay on the sideline with his buddies. We got to wait to see. But the olive leaves, the portents, are saying that the sacrifice of Greer, maybe the sacrifice of Tua, the high pick, which is going to be more likely with Phillips gone and whoever else we trade. So is it lending towards McDaniel having more excuses? Weaver having more excuses? I don't know, guys. We'll see, but I have my rabbit ears up. I think you should keep your rabbit ears up and celebrate Greer not being here. But if we go into the next offseason with McDaniel and Weaver and Champ Kelly, you know that Ross and his buddies are not relinquishing control. And it's a retooling on a rotted foundation. And we could still get someplace, and maybe we could get someplace great. But what are the odds when you look at how failed we've been, even though we've changed GMs, even though we've changed quarterbacks, and even though we've changed head coaches? So don't get down, but be aware, because this team hustles a lot. Let's pray the hustle's over. Let's pray this is just a stopgap in some of these rumors and some of this talk about Ross still making calls and McDaniel being the guy. I mean, if you get a GM outside the building and he's a quality guy and he's got Ross and his buddies in the corner and they're not allowed to, they're insulated doing their thing, and he chooses McDaniel or Tua, whoever, fine. But this setup is a screwed up structure. It's the same screwed up structure. Let's pray this screwed up this structure doesn't continue. But let's see. Let's see if there's any more trades. But there's good and bad news to this. We got 3 third-round picks. Going to have a top first and second round pick, a third round pick, along with these other two. So let's see how it plays out. But this would not be most conducive, best case scenario for this franchise and for us fans. So hopefully you don't get mad at me. But I got to stick with my eval. It's been my eval for a while. I was hoping that it wouldn't play out in this direction, but this direction is not solidified. Let's see. Anyway, get into some other stuff. Try maybe, no, Greer is gone, so we can all be happy and sing Kumbaya together. Anyway, Curtis saying, be well, go Fins. Curtis out. Start building your own online sports book today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.